Welcome back. We are here for the Between Secrets in Lavender, episode 4. All right. So we're checking in with our hunters. Um, Unfortunately, Felix's player is unable to join us again for this session. So we're going to say that Felix is enjoying himself way too much at the Dog and Whistle, especially after uh, roundly trouncing that fellow whom he made a wager with, Mr. Morton Casing, and gaining the favor of a woman, as far as we understand it. So, let's find out where everybody is. Jiayi, where do you find yourself, or where are you going?
I would like to investigate a little bit more at the Blackbird Inn, and it seems the most interesting stuff there happens at night.
Okay. I think we're still going to be like a little bit more into the day phase at
Oh,
this
okay.
point. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if
Still,
you want
yeah,
to go
I
back
think
to, yeah,
yeah,
cool.
because that's on a timer, and we do need to solve that at some point.
Yep, that's fine. I mean, like, yeah, so we'll do like maybe you're catching like the late afternoon light and like you're heading back to Little Blackbird. But let me find out where everybody else wants to go as well. Mordecai, where are you heading?
I think I was at this in Limehouse, right? At
Yeah,
this thing.
at the
Um
Opium Den.
at the opium then. Yes, exactly.
You were
We're
at
in the day phase, right?
correct. You're like verging
Okay.
into the late afternoon. You had
Yeah,
just
okay.
talked with Jenny. You were contemplating like
Mm.
being kind of catty with Constable Lansing, I guess.
Yes, yes. That was something I was doing. I don't think that is yet worth a whole scene. I'm just putting out some stuff for him to find and
Hmm.
maybe think he's onto something. This is just for my own amusement, but I think I should actually pay some attention to whatever is going on in that place. Um, I think what I will do, I also think the blackbird thing, the forest thing, interests me more than this vampire. Vampires are, well, yeah. Eventually, we'll have to face them, but maybe Ellie can do this, right? Because I think that's up her alley and not mine. No, I what I would like to do is I would like to. I think I would like to investigate plants for, the said forest. So I'm wondering if there was some kind of plant exhibition or something that someone brought here from afar, right? Something that is not native here. Because we've had this clue that somebody had a diary from their exhibit edition. So I'm wondering if there might be something there.
Hmm.
Um,
Interesting. Okay, so you're heading from Limehouse, and then you're
yeah.
looking into like any
I
kind of plants. Pardon.
Yeah, that this person who brought it, that was the victim, right? The guy that had.
Well, I mean, just like you know that he has a diary,
Yeah,
like he has a
exactly. Hmm.
journal, and like
Hmm.
certain entries were torn out, or like he was
Hmm.
tearing out journal entries when he was
Hmm.
talking with the his one escort that
Hmm.
night.
Yeah, exactly. Lord Brookmeade. So I think it I think I will investigate Lord Brookmeade. He's a lord, so he's probably
Yes.
part of a gentleman's club,
Oh yes,
wouldn't
of
he be?
course.
So I will go there and spend a little time trying to find someone who can give me some insightful information.
Do you think you are connected enough to be able to be let into said gentleman's club, Mordecai?
I think I might be, yes. I think I have put out that. I mean, I am someone who has put out feelers, at least at London high society,
Okay, all right, all right.
just to find people to hunt, basically. But
Sure. No, no, no. I might have a lead for you. So,
oh, cool.
all
Thank you.
right. Uh, and Ellie, where are you going to be?
Well, once I have uh recombobulated myself a bit back at Hargrave House,
I love the.
um,
Go
because
ahead.
yeah, I did me and vampires. This is not shaping up to be a good thing. But I'm gonna head back to Little Blackbird's. I want to find out about the other patrons.
Yes.
That is my priority at the moment.
Okay. Just trying to think if I want to make it easier by having you two go together or what have you. Yeah, let's just do like a little bit of a time meld. Jiayi, I think maybe you had spotted Ellie tumbling out of the alley, looking quite disheveled and harried, as she's looking towards the Limehouse School. And yeah, she is looking like as if she's headed elsewhere. Do you stop and check in on her, or you just head straight to Blackbird's?
No, that is interesting. Ellie is usually kind of put together, so I think that like kind of piques my curiosity. Um, so yeah, I think maybe Ellie, when you like sort of stumble and you look up, I think Jiayi is doing sort of like that anime girl lean with like her hands behind her back and just like fully like, 90 degrees almost, leaning sort of forward on one foot, her head tilted as she looks at you. She doesn't say anything, but the question, I think, is clear.
In there, vampire. So dark in there, it can be out middle of the day.
Oh my. Did it get you?
I had to fling it off and bolt for it. Because those little brats over there fed me to it.
Oh, you got outsmarted by the kids.
I wouldn't put it that way.
How would you put it?
I would put it that those are conniving little animals. And I was being nice to those kids. I gave them candy. I talked to them, and they decided that they would rather see me get eaten by a vampire.
Wow. You have to admit, it'd be a pretty entertaining sight. Maybe they wanted you to shoot it.
Mm.
Jiayi, I think you might get a sniff of something a little bit more feral coming from Ellie at this moment.
I think I'll lean closer, and if Ellie allows it, I'll kind of like tug at your shirt to basically check your neck and see if I can see a bite, but I'm really just trying to get closer and kind of get that smell and see what's up.
I'm kind of at you, but I'm not actually pulling away. You can get hold of my
Well,
collar.
doesn't seem like it got you.
Nope.
Another day, perhaps.
It's gonna go differently next time.
I'm certain it will. Do you think it would matter if you shot it?
I have less experience with vampires than some, but from what I hear, regular bullets probably won't do much.
Well, depends on where you aim.
Yeah, I might need to get some special ammunition. We'll see.
I heard the heart is always a perfect place.
Heart shot, head shot, those are the two preferable ones.
Hmm. Well, I was going to see how the people at the inn are doing. Would you like to accompany me? Or rather, would you like me to accompany you in case any conniving little animals wish to trick you again?
I was planning to head there myself, so let's go together.
And I'll offer you my arm if you take it, as if you are like escorting a pretty lady.
I
I
mean,
just
how
look at you like, what? Seriously, what?
How tall is Ellie compared to Jiayi? Because Jiayi's tiny.
Jazy's tiny. I think Ellie is
Yeah.
relatively tall,
Yeah,
so.
yeah. This is really cute. Big tough cowboy. Cowgirl.
I will take your arm if you keep doing that, because
Oh yeah,
otherwise.
she's leaving it up.
Aw, God. Oh my God. So cute. Oh man. It's sad, but it's cute. Oh gosh. All right. So then it's like, you guys go off and like maybe you catch a cab, who knows? And
Yeah.
you head over to Little Blackbirds. It's like we'll head over to Mordecai. Mordecai, as you're contemplating like where you're going from Limehouse, and then do you think you stop off anywhere first? Do you stop off at Hargrave House to clean up a little, or do you do anything, or are you gonna leave from Limehouse to go straight to the
Do I,
club?
do I need to clean up? I mean, I have a palpitating heart, but I doubt that shows in my ordinary appearance.
I wasn't sure whether you had done anything messy or whatever over at Limehouse that you would consider wanting to change. I don't know. I'm asking.
I don't think I did anything messy, so I think to reduce the time I have to spend outside, I will take a cab, of course, because I mean sunlight.
Okay, of course. Well, I think that when you do take this cab, then you'll find somebody actually inside. It's like,
Oh,
so when you get the cab rolls up, and there's actually people still like inside, and you get like this lace covered hand like waving at you, and it says, "Oh, is that Mr. Laurence? Mr. Laurence? Mr. Laurence?"
Yeah. I will enter the cab and figure out who this is right now, but yeah, cab is good.
I don't know if you remember me. It's your neighbor.
And you see the smiling face of Miss Pemberton Potts.
Oh, Miss Pemberton Potts, of course I remember you. How could I forget?
Are you on your way somewhere? Would you like to
Yes.
share my cab?
I would love to do that. Thank you very much.
When you do, you realize it's actually her conveyance, because there's someone on the seat that is not like a regular like cab driver, like it looks like somebody like dressed in like personal livery or anything like that. I mean,
Oh.
and there's someone in the cab with her, like right next to her. It is a tallish woman with kind of like a straight comportment, like she has her hands like folded over each other in her lap. She's very pretty, and with like curl, like deep red curls, like kind of like plated on one side of her face, with a pert hat on her head, and she's just kind of like staring at you, just like rather blandly, while she's like sitting next to Miss Pemberton Potts. And of course, like the Miss Pemberton Potts is just looking at you eagerly and saying,
Where would you like to go? I'm just was on my way around town and just saw you there and wanted to offer a ride.
I am very grateful for this offer. It's very kind of you. I was going to the George and Dragon Club.
George and Dragon. Oh, quite exclusive.
I mean, yes, it is. It also has a very nice piano.
May I ask what you will be doing at the George and Dragon?
I will be relaxing, I think. This is what the club is for, after all. Maybe playing the piano, smoke a little pipe, talk to a few people.
I see, I see. Would this have anything to do with Little Blackbirds?
Maybe.
Ooh.
But this is not a thing you talk about in a gentleman's club, as you surely can surmise. Not without veiling the things.
I see. Well, if you have need of someone to listen in while you enjoy yourself. Just in case. Then my man,
and she'll indicate the driver of her cab,
could listen in. Maglasang makes a very good ear.
Hmm. That is a very interesting offer. I do not think I need someone to listen in, but and I stare at her a little. And then I say, well, would you mind if I introduce myself to your companion?
Absolutely. I am so sorry. I'm so horrible. This is my ward and secretary, Miss Laurel Walton.
Pleased to meet you, Miss Walton. I will give her my card, of course.
and she will keep that bland deadpan expression on her face as she gently, will take it and look at it, and then tuck it into her little reticule that is sitting in her lap underneath her hands.
Okay.
And nods. Nice to make your acquaintance, Mr. Laurence.
Likewise, Miss Walton. Well, it was Walton, right? Mordecai would remember. Miss Walton.
She has a tiny smile on the side of her lips, but aside from that, no other expression.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's fine.
I just wanted to check in. Any more progress on my friend Mother Mallory's case?
We are progressing. The direction is still a little unclear. I will tell you, though, that I am afraid that this is a spiritual matter that has very deep roots. I am not sure whether these roots hail from our own soil or are foreign to this land, but this is what I'm trying to find right now.
Interesting.
Yes.
But you
have you traveled much, Miss Pemberton Potts?
Oh, yes, I have. I belonged to the Royal Explorers Club at one point.
That is quite a distinction.
Yes, it is.
I myself have seen several other countries. I have done some traveling in my youth.
I'm sure you've seen much of the world.
I have, in fact, yes. But, not to talk too much about myself. And I will make some small talk with her, I think, asking her about the places she's seen. If she's been to, I don't know, Mongolia or Transylvania, because they have a lot of forests in Transylvania.
Yes, I mean, and she's willing to talk about some of the places that she has seen and some of the wildlife that she's come across and everything. And she will offer you. She will offer you a boutonniere of tansy and foxglove.
Oh. What's the meaning of this? I'm not asking. I think Mordecai knows what these flowers are symbols for, probably not in the flower language of the lovers, but in a supernatural context. In the alchemists, I think alchemists.
I mean, she's giving it to you in the language of the Victorian flower language, actually.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, if you know that language, it's I can definitely tell you that.
I think Mordecai's not super familiar with this kind of language. I think he knows alchemists, what it would mean in an alchemical context or in a cult context, but in a social context, he will probably realize that that is actually something.
I mean, you're
And
welcome to keep it in your personal quarters.
yeah,
Like
I would.
literally a boutonniere of tansy and foxglove.
Can somebody tell me how to spell boutonniere?
I don't even know how to spell boutonniere. That's funny. And I made them for my wedding at one point. You're on mute. Kathleen, you're gonna make me
Did
laugh
it again.
You
I
did it
always do
again.
that.
You all just did it. Not Brenda Whitbeck campaign.
But I will get it. I have to look at it written down. I can.
There it is.
There we go. Thank you.
Tootin' and bunny.
And what were the flowers again?
Tansy and foxglove.
I know that foxglove is poisonous, which is nice.
Yes.
Which Mordecai will not comment. Besides thanking her. And can I use the day move to figure out while she's talking to me about her journeys if she has actually come across
information move. I mean, like
yes.
It's not dangerous to you, like
okay.
For doing this. But yes, I mean, like welcome an information move for sure.
Cool. So I think in this case I'm rolling this with either reason or presence, or maybe sensitivity. Yeah, I think I'm rolling it with sensitivity to get a feeling for how much she knows about the supernatural stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is what I would like to know.
Okay.
There we go. Come on. That's a 10. Well, that game.
As you're talking with her, it's on 2 levels. Your mundane level, you guys are like, if the camera was watching, it's like, we see, like the echoey version where you're talking and she's talking and it's a back and forth, and Laurel's there with the bland expression on her face and just like sitting there, and Maglasang's driving the cab. But then like there's the above level where you're walking through a forest. Not the forest that you were in last night. Not a forest that you're familiar with. This is a completely different one. And I think that you see the back of Miss Pemberton Potts. She's wearing her hat flowered over and her scarf and everything. And she turns around and hands you this boutonniere again. But this boutonniere is black. Like all the flowers are black. And she just says, and in an echoey voice here,
"Welcome to the forest, Mr. Laurence. We're so very glad to have you."
Just trying to think of how much to give you since you got the 10. I think from that vision, I think that's where you're going to get the clue contextualized. Like, you immediately come out of this vision and then you just realize with a shock that she knows more than she's letting on. But when you come back to contextualize those clues, mechanically, it's like you'll be able to, any of the flowers that are in the clues, I will be able to give you the further context for them. Okay.
Nice. Okay. Is there something I can do right now as a player? I'm not really familiar with this contextualizing clue stuff, even though I asked for it, but
not for right now. So when
okay,
you guys
cool.
go when we go through the clue contextualizing, I'll make a note that I'll give you all the
If you want to, I've seen people like if you put like the regular clue, you can add like a note in
Yeah.
the sheet.
Mm,
Yeah.
And sometimes people will like add the extra context in the sheet because in
okay.
the end we can still change that, right? Like
Oh
we
yeah.
can
Oh
still
yeah, for sure.
do whatever
But
we
I will
want with
give
it.
you
But if you
I will
want
give
it,
you the
yeah.
extra. Yeah, I'll just like, if you want to put down, it's like, keep her extra to remind me that I owe that to you. That's fine. Okay.
I can just put a note in the clues,
Yeah.
right?
For
Okay,
anything
cool.
that's a flower clue, that like I'll
Uh-huh.
give you the context for it. And then like, she's smiling at you and she's continuing to talk, and don't think that she's suspected anything, but then she's going to say, it's like, she's going to conclude with,
And you said the Georgian dragon, correct?
Yes, indeed. Indeed.
and then she'll knock on the ceiling of the cabin and say,
Magla sang, Georgian Dragon Club, please.
and that's where you're headed. All right. And then we'll bring you two over, your time jump over to the Blackbird. Blackbird's in. Little Blackbirds. When you are at the Little Blackbirds, where do each of you go? Do you go together? Do you split off? Who are you tackling? Basically. So the people,
I think we're gonna split.
right. Let's see. So somebody, Ellie, you wanted to talk to the patrons that are here.
Yes.
And then Jiayi, you were going to go to somebody specific, because there's still plenty of escorts that you haven't met yet, or that you probably have seen but you haven't actually talked to. So
I think Jiayi is suspicious of Cobb because why was he? That's the music one, right? The one. No, that
no,
was
Fitz.
No.
Fitz was the
Fitz.
music one that you had
Fitz.
talked to.
Yeah, why was he interrupting me when I was doing business? Why was he so insistent? I think she's kind of suspicious of him, so I want to talk to him. Listen to that music.
Okay. Alrighty. I mean, yeah, he's probably in the music room right now and like, playing. So yeah, I mean, like, and you hear him playing. Actually, that's probably what's drawing you, separating from Ellie. And Ellie, I mean, like, there is a, hold on, let me go for my locations here. Entertaining rooms. Okay, so we'll tackle with Jiayi first. So Jiayi, you're heading towards the music room where Fitz is playing because you hear the piano. And then Ellie, it's like, you kind of make your way over to the card room, and we'll do the paint the scene on that when we get there, okay? So, Jiayi, over in the music room. This is a big place. I mean, like, again, this is kind of like a grand inn on the top of a hill, and it's got a ballroom and such, but it's also got like the like a music room for practice and such. Yeah, I don't really have a thing for this, so I'm not gonna worry about it at the moment. And he's practicing, and he's kind of like maybe working out a tune in his head, or he's like kind of murmuring some lyrics to himself. Maybe you see his back because like he's not facing the door. So do you sneak up on him? Do you just kind of like jump in front of him? What do you do?
I'm doing that thing where I'm like standing in the threshold of like the doorway, like the door is open and I'm like leaning against the door frame. And I'm just watching him for a moment to see if he notices me or not. And what he's doing when he thinks he's unseen.
Oh, he's... Imagine like, like a bit, again, we're in a show. So, I mean, he is really into his music. I mean, it is a song that is reminiscent of someone who yearns for a particular season, probably autumn. And like, the crisp breezes, like the rustling leaves, and probably past memories of regret and such. Like he's singing of that, and like his voice is something out of time. Like it's something that, you know, would probably be popular in a different time period, but not so much now. Um, but it's still good. I mean, it's still beautiful. It's just, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Jiayi has like maybe the same hang-ups about what ought to be popular as some humans might have. Um, or indeed the same perception of time as they have. Um, but I think she listens for a moment and seeing like how passionate and like earnest he is about this, I think she won't interrupt him. But rather, I think we see her sort of, we see like him on the piano, and then we get a shot of like the Hanfu like twirling as she like does a little spin. And like she doesn't have like sleeves like long enough to really do like that, those like traditional sleeve dances, but she's sort of like doing those moves. And like as broad and like silky like as they are, they do like still kind of convey that idea. Although again, like she does not have the garment that will like fully do that. But I think she just smiles and she will dance whatever comes up into her mind.
And I
She
think,
won't interrupt him.
yeah, and I think as you're dancing, I think he sees you out of the corner of his eye. He won't interrupt either. In fact, he's using your movements to inspire what he's doing, and he will like kind of like half stand from his position, and he will play to your movements without necessarily you realizing it, and like, you know,
Oh,
he'll
I think
just
she does. I think
okay.
she realizes, and she'll give him a little smirk once she does. And then like not to like throw him off, but to like you have to challenge people like this, right? They're ambitious, they want to be challenged.
Yeah.
So she will throw in like moves that she knows he is very unlikely to have ever seen being an Englishman.
Yeah.
Um, like maybe even that Chinese people wouldn't have necessarily seen because they're not from this realm. I didn't take the move because there is a fox move that could have helped me here, but I don't have it yet. But do you think this could be an information move to see where he ends up?
Sure,
Or
why
like
not?
as we sort of get caught up in this,
I'm
what happens?
easy. Let's go for it. Information move with, you wanted to say sensitivity because this is kind of like a weird back and forth, like using your,
Yeah, I was
yeah.
gonna say either presence or sensitivity as we sort of either it's about like what does this like musical like inspiration does to him, or it's like presence, can I charm him enough into opening up to me?
Hey, you know what? I mean, like, what do you think is like, you know, like foremost in the air right now? Your presence or your foxiness?
Let's go with foxiness. I think
Okay,
that's fun.
that's
And
fun.
also we know that there is something supernatural going on here, so
Whoa,
you
boy,
know,
howdy. Yeah.
it might reveal itself. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Does my condition come into play? I don't see how it might, but maybe you have a different idea.
Yeah, let's okay, let me see.
It was like about me having more sympathy for the monsters and not feeling fully on the hunter's side, but
Yeah, I don't think so.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that is a 10.
Okay, information move it is. All right. Let's see what we get here. God, so beautiful. I love these moments because it's just like so organic. God dang. Oh man. There's no choice for it. I think, you know, as you two are making this glorious performance art together, it's just, this magic is just bringing out the poetry on the nature of finding oneself. That is what's happening. That is the clue. The poetry on the nature of finding oneself.
Same.
I mean, your movements are just I mean, I hate to say it, but like almost making you float. I mean, just like they're just so full of energy and life, and his playing and singing is just matching yours, and it's just flowing in and out of each other. Like the camera pans, the camera angles are just conveying and like, cuts and edits are just like, showing all that, and it's just coming up to an incredible climax. And then like when you both end, it's like maybe you're staring at each other, panting, and just like in the moment. And it's like, and then you're just looking at you like, that was incredible. What was that?
I think it is called talent, of which you have plenty.
Thank you, but you are amazing. What? I know you're usually with Nora, but
You what? And I will sort of like lean over the piano, like just a mere inch or so from his face.
I wouldn't mind some time with you as well, if that's all right. I have no right. I mean, Nora obviously has your attentions and your time, but
I think she just like kind of smiles and like lets him simmer in it for a little bit.
yeah, he's really like just like sitting in it right now. He's like really like gotten real shy right now.
And I think she will smile after like a moment of that and just say, I can divide my attention. And I wouldn't mind hearing you play again.
And he's just like really, like you see that wide smile like come back across his face. I would love to play and sing to that amazing dancing of yours again, if I could.
I'm certain you could.
It's like an eager puppy, just.
And I think her smile is like, it's sweet, but sharp as she looks at him.
I mean, like the camera probably sees, like, if you were in fox form, you'd like probably ready to bite him or something like that.
Yeah, I think we sort of see like that shift. Like, I think we see like, the shot of like over his shoulder as if it's from his point of view, and it's just like all sweet and soft lighting. And then I think the camera kind of does that little shift maybe as we go out of the shot, and we just see that those teeth are very sharp.
Yep.
And the smile is very sharp and perfect.
Exactly. It's like, oh my God. Okay. Yep. And then we fade over to elsewhere in Little Blackbirds, which is over in the card room. The card room, paint the scene, is specifically for public use, holding group games of chance and luck for patron and employee alike. Paint the scene. How has camaraderie been shown time and again in this room despite the competitive gaming that goes on here? How has camaraderie been shown time and again in this room despite the competitive gaming that goes on here?
I think it is. There are, of course, ashtrays. And I think it is pretty common for patrons to share, they'll offer each other cigars or pipe tobacco from their own stock, and share with the house's employees as well.
I think there is, speaking of pianos, there is a piano here. And you can see that this is not a piano where you have where it's it's not an entertainment piano for that happens too for the people who work here, but it's also, you will ordinarily see one of the patrons get up and play something, and then somebody else goes up, and if nobody's playing, then somebody will get rid until somebody makes some music, right?
I think there is what there's like a small like ornate box, and people can drop either like, you know, some coin in it, or like a brooch they don't want anymore, or something they found. It's like between a donation box and a lost and found box. And if you don't have anything to gamble with, if you don't have anything to wager, you can take something from there. And especially like for beginners, they'll like have you wager something from that box, so you can, so it feels like it's a real game and you're really wagering something. And it's not like this isn't garbage. Like these are nice things, but it's very much like you don't actually have to put something really valuable on the line here. Like that's not what this is about.
Right. Oh my gosh, amazing. That's awesome. So you wander into this really nicely appointed room. It would be what would look like kind of like a nice sitting room elsewhere, but it has large and intimate tables, like kind of scattered throughout. And at one of these tables is an older gentleman along with a woman whose back is to the door. And the older gentleman just seems to be kind of lazily, like, you know, dealing out cards with his thumb between the two of them. And then just kind of like, you know, just kind of like glancing at his hand. And then she will just kind of like bring out a hand herself and then, like, you know, look at her hand. And then scattered at the other tables look to be like maybe other escorts that look at you curiously when you come in, Ellie, but they're not actually like approaching or anything like that. They're just kind of keeping to themselves at their own little tables and their own little games.
Well, I think I'm just gonna walk up to the table with the two folks at it and say, "Seat open?"
The older gentleman will look up at you and
Boy, howdy, do I not fit?
yeah, just kind of like look you up and down and saying, "Are you sure you can afford it?"
What's the stakes?
See this chip? And then he kind of like tosses it on the table. 100 pounds.
Maybe I'll just watch, if I may.
He kind of just nods. And the woman has not acknowledged you at all. She just like sits there. So if you take the seat next to her, then she won't say anything. She'll just, you know, just sit and look at her companion.
Interesting. Can I get a look at her face, or is her back resolutely to me?
No, I mean, like, you know, you're going to be sitting next to her.
Right.
You see her profile, and she is, hold on. Yeah. She's unassuming, quiet, but that profile is kind of alluring in a nondescript way. It's like she refuses to look at you, so she kind of keeps it resolutely, like, on, if not her companion, like, you know, the older man, then at least on something like a point further along, or whatever hand he's dealt her. Yep. The older gentleman, by the way, is portly, slight hitch, you know, kind of like hitches up his pants. He's wearing like a nice, like bespoke type of suit, cravat, loosened a little bit. and just kind of jowly and like lazily looks at his hand. And he kind of like looks at his companion and goes, "Place your bet." And she just like will slide over a few of those 100-pound chips.
I'm gonna let him play out this hand while I just watch them. We can skim over that for game purposes.
Yeah.
But I'm just kind of getting the lay of the land, trying to get some idea of what kind of relationship, acquaintance, whatever is between these two, before I start talking.
Yeah, I mean, basically, like, after one hand, it's like, he he sees her bet, raises his eyebrows, and then like, like puts out his hand and like, what is it? I forget the terms. Anyway, she puts out her hand, and he's, oh, you've won again. And she doesn't even acknowledge it. She just collects her chips by bringing them to her.
So, I didn't just wander in here. I'm actually looking into the present situation on
Sharp
behalf
intake
of the
of
house.
breath from the woman, but it's barely imperceptible. It's barely perceptible, so maybe you imagined it.
And my associates and I, absolutely understand the need for discretion here. Our interest is not in exposing anyone or embarrassing anyone or pressuring anyone, apart from uncovering whoever's responsible for the death. My name's Ellie Fletcher.
Is that supposed to mean anything to us?
No, but it is customary to offer your name when someone's introduced themselves.
He kind of laughs a little bit in his jowls, and he leans forward with his elbows on the table. Real or assumed?
Let's go with how you would like me to address you.
He just cocks his head and goes, Lord Piers Mumford.
Right? And I look at the lady, who is probably not looking at me. Yep. Ma'am?
And he looks to her and he says, You might as well tell her. She's going to find out sooner or later. And she turns a face to you, and this face is, when you thought it was alluring before, she turns to you fully in the face, and it's like there's something about her face that is captivating. But you can't describe what. It's just nondescript. We have no idea what. But there it is. And she will say in a soft voice, Lady Sarah Brookmeade. And it's sad.
Yeah.
It's a sad voice.
I'm sorry for your loss, ma'am.
That's all she says.
So, I realize this is a delicate inquiry under the circumstances, but did his lordship have enemies that you knew of? Obviously, someone wished him as much ill as one can, but Do you have any idea? Do you...
Information move, please. With
Yep.
I don't know. Presence. I mean, that's about as all you can do, I guess.
Yep. Huh. Yeah, 7.
Interesting. Lord Mumford will say, "Yes, I knew Brookmeade since he was just coming out of the youngster stage. This is a tragedy, to be sure, but perhaps not unexpected." And Lady Sarah will say, "Pray, ask anything of me you wish, but I will not speak to what I cannot answer." And just as they're kind of saying these things to you, there's someone coming from another open door. There was two doors to this place, one that you came in through, and then another one from another space in the card room. And this person is flamboyantly dressed and smoking a thin cigarette, and just they have dark circles under their eyes, and they're just kind of sweeping in, and then all of a sudden just kind of just came in, took a seat, and saying, just plunking a seat next to you and in front of Lord Mumford and Lady Brookmeade, and saying, "Oh, yes, I have opinions about our clientele. No, I shan't tell you. Well, maybe." And then they're looking right at you. "Well, maybe, if you're nice."
Nice. I think it's pretty nice that I'm working to save the reputation of this house and the people in it. I call that nice.
Yeah, but are they telling the truth, though? You have to wonder.
I mean, you ask first, you assess once you have what you've been told. That's how it works.
And
You can't know if they're lying if they haven't said anything.
True. And the hand that's not holding the thin cigarette is kind of leaning out to you and saying, "Tanner Motley, at your service. You are?"
Ellie Fletcher.
"Ah, nice to meet
I
you."
will take the hand and sort of bow over it. I don't know. I'm not quite sure what is being expected of me here.
"At your service. For a price."
Of course.
Of course.
How are the others at the table taking this intrusion? Do they seem, "Oh, that's Tanner," or is it, "Who is this person?" or is it, "Oh God, it's Tanner"? Or
They're kind of they're kind of both of the same opinion of it's "Oh, it's Tanner," and then and then Lady Sarah is kind of turned away, and it's "Oh, it's Tanner." So both reactions, basically. Yeah.
Okay.
This is a usual. Yeah. So.
Entirely expected, not exactly welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
That is your interruption for the 7. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I will give you a. Well, we'll see what kind of clue I give you in a minute. Hold on. Let me see.
Right.
Ooh. All right, I'm going to give you something juicy before we cut to a commercial break. So, I think Tanner's going to turn to you, and after looking at both Lord Mumford and Lady Brookmeade, and going, it's "For a price. For instance, you wouldn't have happened to have heard about rumors of a troubled marriage, of course, of convenience. Or is it inconvenience? And both of them just like look. I mean, even Lady Sarah, like both of them just look at Tanner with like looks of shock and possibly anger.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the clue. Rumors of a troubled marriage of convenience with monetary implications.
Okay.
Rumors of a troubled marriage of convenience with monetary implications. And that's a dun 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 moment that we cut to commercial break. All right, Mordecai. Ms. Pemberton Potts has amiably dropped you off at the George and Dragon, waving
Nice.
merrily at you. Are you wearing the boutonniere, or are you just kind of leaving it off?
I think I will wear it. She gave it to me. I will wear it. Maybe this will shake something loose.
Okay.
I know that she has ulterior motives with this.
I mean,
So maybe this, yeah.
basically, as the camera is like kind of panning on your face as you're coming towards the George and Dragon, behind you as the cab rolls away, we see in the window of the cab, they're both, actually all of them are staring at you. So we see Laurel, Ms. Pemberton Potts, and Magla Sang's face, like faces looking at you as you leave. Yeah, it's great. Okay.
I will not look. I will not.
Of course not. No.
No.
Hi, Maki. Okay. Anyway. The George and Dragon.
George and Dragon, yes.
Yes. All right. So, for fun, paint the scene because we've completely made this place up out of whole cloth. What makes this place, this clientele of a certain tier, but yet we also know that they have interests that belie their social station? How do we know that the clientele of the George and Dragon Club are of a certain tier, but they also have interests that belie their social station?
The club's library tells you a lot. There are the expected fine leather-bound volumes of literature and history and similar appropriately weighty subjects. But there's also a mix of much cheaper books and even some broadside pamphlets and things on all kinds of subjects. You can get a sense that, well, somebody here must be really interested in whether it's, you know, butterflies or the history of Polynesia, or is it you get these odd little outlier collections within the library.
Someone in this place is usually into taxidermy, and there are all kinds of stuffed things, like mostly, and some of them are quite ordinary, really. Others are not so much. Some of them might be downright impossible, even.
I think at one of the tables, someone is very excitedly talking about this new machine, this mesmerism, and like explaining how, it can put you in this state where you can commune with spirits, which are all like basically explaining the concept of mesmerism and how it's the new, basically like the new cutting edge science and technology. And they're like very into it. And I think like some people are, I don't think anyone like disbelieves him necessarily, but more so like, I don't know if this is like appropriate conversation for this place, but they're also like, obviously not wanting to say that out loud.
Look at Mordecai smirk at this whole discussion. Great.
I mean, that is kind of ridiculous, isn't it? But let them have their
They'll
fun.
talk, right?
If one of them gets eaten by a ghost,
Hey,
well,
there's probably somebody also talking in a corner about like reading the bumps on somebody else's head, like about phrenology or something like that. I mean, not an exact
yes.
science either, but they're talking about it. Okay, great. So
Huh.
anyway,
No, I won't. Yeah,
don't
see, that's why I come here, to find people that I can mess with.
Of course.
I will.
All right.
I will note the phrenologist people, but that's not why I'm here right now.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you said you're here to relax, supposedly.
I'm here to find someone to talk about plans and Lord Brookmeade, mostly, and more Lord Brookmeade's. I mean, he was kind of a traveler and explorer, right?
Correct.
And I will want to find someone who knows something about this whole thing. And I feel that maybe I know at least basics, since as we said, I'm at least a member or a guest of the club. I know. I can ask the man, the butler, who I would talk to about this.
And
Maki, hey,
Maki. Oh. Okay, we have a cat break. We're having a requisite cat break. Oh my gosh!
Wow,
cat scritching.
Such a fluffy cat.
Floof. Judgmental cat floof. Alrighty.
Okay, sorry. Please continue.
Oh no, don't apologize for that.
Cat break. We need a cat break. Okay. It's either that or requisite cat butt in the video. It's fine. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, so there's a nondescript fellow here. Like probably hands you ask you what your beverage of choice is if you need one.
Oh, I will drink I think a wine or something. It's the evening. I can drink a wine.
Well, I mean, it's not quite evening yet. I mean, like it's waxing on late afternoon, like dusk is
in
coming
that
on.
case, I will have a tea.
Okay.
There will be a discussion about what specifics of the tea, but I don't think this is of general interest.
No. I mean, he'll just need whatever small talk is needed. Anything that you needed to discuss, sir?
Yes, I have been made aware that the late Lord, it's known that he's dead, right? Is it? Is it known? No,
I think we're keeping it quiet.
Oh, okay. Then I will not say that. Then I will say that Lord Brookmeade has had some very made some fascinating discovery while on his journey. The people who told me would not go into specifics, but I am curious.
Lord Brookmeade. Ah. It is not out of turn to discuss one with a distinguished history. What is it that you wish to know, sir? Information move, please.
Oh, yes, okay.
Or presence, whichever that you feel that you want to utilize right now.
What did you say? I'm sorry, I caught presence, but the other one?
Presence or reason?
I think I will go with reason here because, I mean, so it's a 10. It was a good choice.
This will be where the butler will pull out from one of the many books that is lining this particular space. You will see it's not necessarily a debris. It's like where it's like a social standing kind of thing, but it's more of like an entry log of members per se, and it kind of gives you like a quick rundown on Brookmeade's history, just certain accomplishments and such. And with the 10, you usually get the usual information of like, fifth in the line, like, of his family and, heir to the to this particular state, and uh, husband to Lady Brookmeade, whatever, the whole
Mhm.
spiel.
Mhm.
And then you see associates.
Mhm.
And for some reason, you see expedition, latest expeditions that that are listed in order, and um, one of them is associated with Royal Explorers Club,
Uh-huh.
Sir Thomas Shearer Cole.
Mhm.
Is the last expedition that he was associated with. That is not a clue, that is a detail. You actually see that he wrote, author of a book of erotic poetry.
Of what?
That is the
erotic
actual
poetry.
clue.
Oh, okay. So he
So
was
that's
on an
part of the entry.
expedition with the
There was
author of the book of erotic.
there's an entry that he was
Mhm.
his latest expedition was with a Royal Explorers Club member, Sir Thomas Shearer Cole. But the actual clue that you get is that he wrote a book of erotic poetry.
Now he himself or the expedition person, Sir Thomas?
Like
But
Sir
Brookmeade.
Brookmeade wrote. I mean, Lord Brookmeade wrote a book of
A
erotic
book of
poetry.
erotic poetry.
Yeah.
Very interesting. I
Yeah.
will ask the butler if I can find it here.
It's a bit obscure, sir.
I imagine so.
Yes. I will see if I can dig up a copy for you before you decide to leave. It is unfortunately named, as they all are, the same thing. So, if I can find the exact title that is done by him, then I will definitely make sure that you have the copy in your hand before you leave.
But yes, the clue itself is a book of erotic poetry.
Yeah, sure. I think Mordecai will just want to look at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
And then he will go and eat a sandwich or something and find the most egregiously conservative phrenologist person just to see if we can mess with them.
Are you never mind. because they're basically reading the book. It's ridiculous. They're basically reading the bumps on each other's heads.
Oh,
so, yeah.
How fascinating.
Yeah, right. She's trying to say that with a straight face. Right,
yes,
I bet.
Mordecai can say that with a straight face.
I'm sure you're going to try, but it's probably failing. Probably failing as we cut away from your face,
Yes, okay, fine.
Yeah. Just saying. Okay. Sorry, Jiayi. Oh my god. Jiayi, you were with Fitz, yeah? You were flirting with Fitz?
Indeed.
Looking predatory towards Fitz, if I recall correctly. Sorry.
Well, he would think it's sweet. I think it's more like the subtext for us as the audience. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So, what are you doing now?
I think she smiles and she says, "But you bring up a rather interesting point, don't you? As close as you all are here, I suppose there is an element of competition. After all, if I give my attention, and with such my wealth, to only Nora, you," and I gently tap his chest, "you are left with none. How unfair."
Well, I mean, I don't want to feel like I'm poaching Nora's patron. I do want to have my own patron someday, of course. But, I mean, for right now, we're all working for little blackbirds. And we're all trying to make our own way, of course.
And it is such hard work, isn't it? Day in, day out, trying to get someone to notice you. try to get their attention, and so fickle a person's attention.
It is rather difficult. I mean, Cobb's so damn handsome, and Tanner's all over the place, and I like to make music, and some people like it and some people don't. It's hard.
It is hard. It must be hard when someone like Lord Pembroke decides to give his attention to only one person and no one else. Does it not eat away at some of you?
Well, this place is for people that come and go. Like yourself. I mean, I've... And he looks shyly down at his feet. I've noticed that you come and go, and sometimes we don't know if folks will come back, and some people can stand out more than others.
And you have to stay. How terrible. A prison with the doors wide open.
I don't have to. I suppose I could try to make my own way.
Where would you do that? How would you do that?
I suppose if I could find a church that I would be willing to just play. It's rather boring.
Yes, you shouldn't have to compromise any artistic vision just to live.
I mean, what we just did was... That was the most amazing thing. Have you done something like that before? Or someone made music to your brilliant dancing?
Oh, I don't kiss and tell. That's gauche.
Oh. Sorry.
I shall tell you. Shall I tell you that there is no one else? That it is you who sparked this inspiration in my heart? Is that what you would like to hear? Right now, I don't even think I could remember anyone else.
And he's just tongue-tied. He's just like... Yeah, he's just...
I do wonder, next time you see me with Nora, are you going to be all right? I think like meta-wise, basically what I'm trying to get at, because one of the questions is, were they murdered by an escort or not? Is I'm basically trying to see, like, could someone here be made jealous enough to kill someone for that? Like,
right.
I'm not setting him up to murder anyone, but I'm like trying to basically get a story like that out of him, right? Like, was someone jealous that Cobb got all that attention from like a wealthy patron and he was left, or someone else was left with nothing?
Right. I mean, you know, and then he'd probably say it's like, you know, it's like, well, I'd have to be, right? Because, you know, it's like it's the clients that pick the favorites. I mean, I have no say. I have absolutely no say over who they want. And
how frustrating to put everything out there in the hands of someone who might not even care. Or care only for a little while, show you what you could have, and then dance away.
I mean, some would put it themselves out a lot more than others. I mean, Tanner will just throw themselves at, you know, whomever looks like they have more than just a bit of coin. But they're able to do that. They have more fire, I guess. And I feel I do. I feel like I feel like I put my fire in this, and he points to the piano.
Yes. And what if someone doesn't want tenor? That's all right.
I mean, Tanner's just gonna have to put up with it, right?
But does he?
I stay out of Tanner's business. I don't get into that at all.
Well, what about that sweet girl, the tall one? Lucy, was it? She is as virtuous as you are, staying out of everybody's business.
Oh, she's way too talented to worry about anybody else. She's... When you get her in conversation, you feel like you are the only thing that she cares about.
Oh my, do I have competition?
Oh no. I've given you someone else to be interested in.
Yes, you are not a very good salesman now, are you?
No, I'm not. But I do like my companions. I do like my fellows here. Maybe that's my feeling. But,
Well, then I do certainly hope they feel the same way. It is important to have a family, to have a pack of sorts, if you would forgive me, the rather animalistic term.
I
And it
feel
is
that
not
way.
that hard, not that easy to find always, and very easy to lose.
Mother Mallory helps with that. She's truly helped us. Those of us that have come together. I feel that she's brought us together. I'm glad that we had this time. Whether you come back, I hope you've enjoyed time with me, and will come back and do so again.
You are a most interesting one. I do think there is another dance in me at some point. And she will, like, as she leaves, she will just shy of like brushing against his lips, like sort of do a little body roll as she gets up and away from the piano, wave, and then she will walk off.
And Ellie. Okay. So, I mean, Tanner's in your face, basically, and, like, just kind of, like, has just, like, dropped the bomb about, like, the rumor of the troubled marriage. And, of course, both Lord Mumford and Lady Brookmeade are just like, are you kidding me, boy? Or, you know?
Yeah.
So,
How dare you interrupt and with that?
and with that, exactly. That's exactly the thing. So basically, unless you figure out a way to get Tanner the hell out of there or do something else, they're not going to be willing to talk to you.
Yeah, I think I want to get rid of Tanner.
That was for your 7, by the way.
Yes. Oh, yes. Because this is... Ellie has only so much patience for people being extremely teasingly flamboyant at her, and frankly, she gets all that she needs at her grave house.
I mean, you got some really
Big personalities.
Yeah, I mean, they're great.
So yeah, I think Tanner is just hitting some buttons a little bit.
I mean, like, they're literally like, did they tell you?
If you'll excuse us, I was talking to these folks, and I think four's a crowd.
I mean, I'm just so much more interesting than them, though. I mean...
Then you'll have no trouble finding someone else to talk to.
Your loss. as they kind of like get up from their seat and will casually flick their cigarette ash in their wake. Maybe some of it gets on you. How do you feel right now?
Prickly.
That is your condition. Prickly. Whoopsie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just fine.
Yep. So, right. So you can try to smooth things over with Lord Mumford and Lady Brookmeade for a last-ditch effort.
That's what I would like to do.
Okay.
Um,
So how would you like to try and do this?
let's see. We were very rudely interrupted. I was enjoying our conversation, and then somebody thought it looked like an opportunity, I think.
Lady
But
Brookmeade will kind of like shrug in her shawl and in her seat and just say, "Unfortunately, we are used to Tanner's energy, and this is exactly how they are normally. However, yes, it was rather rude."
So, is there much friction here where uh patrons of the house and employees of the house, I suppose one might put it, clash, don't get along? Or is that exceptional?
And it's like, Lord Mumford kind of like shakes his jowls out a little bit and just, "No, but circumstances obviously are a bit different when murder is on the line."
Indeed.
You'll excuse me for saying so, but what are you hoping to find out exactly? To, excuse me for being crass, but pin it on them or on us?
I want to pin it on whoever's responsible. I don't, at this time, have an idea of who that would be. I'm looking for anything about how things usually go here, or unusual events here, or uh, anybody that might have, in the American phrase, had it in for your late husband, ma'am.
I will give you another chance to roll the information move, and depending on what you get, you'll get a clue, but who knows if you can trust it. We'll see.
Yep. Okay.
uh
13.
Whoa. Oh, you're definitely getting some lore with this one. Lore, as well as a clue. This is where they both lean in. And Lady Brookmeade will look at you sadly and say, "It all depends on what you want to try and find out. All signs would point to me, of course, as being a prime suspect. But I will say that regardless
of what anyone thinks. I know. I had heard an argument between two of the escorts saying, or two of the escorts arguing, and the argument ended with, he had it coming.
Oh my.
And I can tell you who those escorts are, but I think it's enough to know that it was between two of them. And Lord Mumford will pipe up and say, "It is as I said. This is not unexpected. There's a long, storied history.
Really?
He's been a protege of mine. And he's been well traveled. And the nature of this death could be tied to one of the last expeditions he had taken. He had been commissioned by Victoria herself to explore some haunted... what the hell was it, Lady Sarah? Iberian, I can't even remember. Some forest. And who was he with? I don't remember, Lord Mumford. That companion of his. Sir Thomas? I think so. Well, whomever it was the last time he had left the country. And then he retired from exploring, which in and of itself was rather strange. But regardless, I don't know how that ties in. I don't know how that works. But why it would be associated with us or these essentially children, these escorts, it makes no sense. Absolutely not.
Indeed.
So make that what you will, Miss Fletcher.
Thank you. That gives me some context. And I appreciate that. I will not bother you any further. Let you resume your game.
And Lady Sarah will reach out a very pale hand to you and say, I thank you for not asking me any deep-seated questions.
Seemed inappropriate.
And she just nods at you and then withdraws her hand. All right. So
Ellie has not eliminated her as a suspect.
Well, of course not, but I'm just saying.
She figured she would not get anything useful by questioning her, so she decided to hold off, and if it makes her look like a more sympathetic person, hey, sure. That's fine.
It's fine. Right, exactly. So it's all cool. All right, so let's see. Let's go back to the... All right. give you the thingies. Give me a second. Okay, so getting back to the clues, so this way I can give this to you guys now. For a vase, going over the clues real quick. A vase of dying pansies. The floral meaning is, you occupy my thoughts. So if somebody wants to put that in there. A vase of dying pansies. Pansies means, you occupy my thoughts. And then for the ivy boughs hung in a strange place, ivy means, or at least the meaning that I got, is fidelity and attachment. And then there is the TBD from the vulnerable move, so however you guys want to throw that in there as a table towards blah, blah, blah. So it looks like you guys have 10 clues. Holy crap. Towards 2 questions, however the hell you guys want to split that out, of course, you know. And then we have a closing out day phase. So we can go into a dusk, and then this way we can jump right into a night for next session. Let's look at this thing. Oh God! Oh my God! I'm scared. Sorry. Day, dusk. Come on. All right. Any playbook moves or custom moves? American quickening. Are you using real dice or are you using witch dice? You're on mute. Get it together! Get it together!
I may have used up all my luck on witch dice, but I'm gonna give it another shot because I got a really good roll out of witch dice, so it's clearly not completely against me. Okay, so
You're still on wait. I think you still have a condition.
I do.
You still have several conditions. Yes,
I have multiple conditions.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have to. Yeah.
So I'm rolling at disadvantage.
Mm-hmm. Unless you
Yep.
can pull out personal quarters that you can try and mitigate that with.
Let's see if there's
Cancel it
anything I
out.
can justify here. Because this,
Until you can do a vulnerable move to like try to like wipe some shit out. I mean, like I can't.
I know, I'm in trouble here. But I think as dusk is setting in and I'm back in my room at Hargrave House, I am pulling out that roll of throwing knives and extracting a curl of dark hair that in one pocket. It's tied with a bit of blue satin ribbon. And thinking about the person that hair came from and how and why they're no longer in my life,
Okay.
I think that gives me some extra incentive to pull it together and hold on.
All right. So roll with composure or sensitivity. Your choice. Straight, without disadvantage or advantage.
12.
Alrighty, on a 12 plus, your heightened sense of hearing and smell will help you uncover an additional clue that no other hunter would be able to detect. That's at the end of the night. So during the dawn phase, you will tell me what clue it is. You cannot conclusively answer any question. So, yes, whatever you engage in for night phase, it better be something fun and adventurous because yeah, you can definitely kick some ass on night phase. For sure. Okay, great. So mark that as, you're good to go. Quickening 12. Okay, great. Good. Okay. Next, let's see what else for dusk. All right. So I'm assuming people want to do stuff for night phase, so we're not doing a Hargrave House night phase only. So let's see. What do we want to say we're doing? The library. Of all the rooms in Hargrave House, none feel more unstuck than this one. As you enter the library, what do you see or experience that feels a little off in the library?
I think this is rather specific maybe to Mordecai, but when he enters the library, the entities will be very excited, very active. Like you can feel them moving around, looking at things, probably not the books, or maybe what like the essence of the spiritual essence of the books. And he has to keep them from eating that, because that would probably not be a good idea. So as much as he likes going to the library, it's also kind of stressful. And sometimes if you go with him, you can hear these entities, or can maybe even see this smear of weird unearthly light that is not very, very comforting or anything.
It looks like an authentic Shang Dynasty library. And it doesn't look like, oh, rich Western people thought like, ooh, let's do something Chinese because it's cool. Like it looks authentic. Like you could have found this room in Shang Dynasty China. And I think that is the only room that just has, for some reason, this inexplicably like different design choices, and like the bookshelves are like made from wood that is like not native to England, that cannot be found in England. It even looks and like has sort of that really like ancient smell of like restoration has been done here, even though nobody has ever done that. But it looks both old and very new, and definitely kind of out of place.
As befits a room where books are kept, it's the temperature is relatively, you know, kept kept even, and there aren't a lot of windows and such to admit undue amounts of sunlight that fades books or potential moisture, etc. And yet, there's often a bit of a draft, or one would almost say a breeze, as if coming from an open window. The air smells fresh. It doesn't always smell the same. Sometimes you can smell flowers growing. Sometimes you can smell as if it has just begun to rain. Sometimes it's chilly, sometimes it's surprisingly warm. But there's always some little breeze, little draft, little moving air that does not fit.
Can't wait for you guys to go back to the library. Oh, wow. It's going to be amazing. Okay. Awesome. All right. So, I'm imagining that you want to wait until Felix comes back to the table before you start answering a question and stuff. Okay. All right. Fair enough. I mean, worst comes to worst, it's like we don't necessarily like engage in night phase until like we get Felix back, and then we do a little more dusk phase and then go into a night phase if you want to try to do that. Or we engage in dusk phase a little bit offline, like in the Discord, and then bring it over into night phase. So whichever feels good, because again, I don't want to go too far like without like, you know, having everybody on table like figuring out what they want to do. Okay. So I don't know if you want to wait to do that before you figure out what exactly you guys want to do for night phase, because that would be the next part of dusk to figure out what you're doing for night phase. All right. And I don't think anybody evoked any masks for this session, so we don't have to do any kind of Janus mask stuff. Well, since we're gonna like delay a little bit to work on answering a question or what have you. I'm gonna delay picking an unseen until I really have to, and then see what fits for the particular night phase. Because I'm curious to see if you guys are gonna go completely hog wild and try to do little blackbirds, or if somebody's going to try and engage with Limehouse for night. Um, because if you don't, there could be other fun that happens later. Yeah. So
So, I mean, I can tell you that I will want to engage with Mordecai's move with the whole what's the move called?
Beacon in the Dark.
Beacon on the Dark.
Yeah,
That's the move I would like to engage in. See what pops with that. So
love that one for sure. Okay, yeah. Cool. All right. That could be anything. We'll end up seeing what you end up rolling for night phase. Okay. So no, I don't think anybody. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else hanging off. Yep.
Can we do more of the? It's not comfort and support. The vulnerable scenes. We can't do that.
Yeah, I mean, right? Yeah. Well, I mean, like I'm allowing it for sure. Does anybody want to do a vulnerable scene right now? You know, to round out, because I mean, we still have a little bit of time. I mean, I imagine Stars and Wishes shouldn't take much more than like 10 minutes. So, I mean, like, there's like another 10 minutes to do like vulnerable moves if you want to do a vulnerable move just to finish off.
Yeah, I would like to ask Ellie about the flowers.
Yeah.
Which can lead to a vulnerable move, right?
Yeah.
If that's okay with you, Kathleen? Okay. Cool.
Make sure you're off
yes.
mute.
Yes. Once again, I don't know what it is today. Anyway, so yeah, the question for a vulnerable scene, of course, is whether we're going to head toward your interest or mine.
Yes.
And if we're heading toward mine, that's going to be probably back into Limehouse, whether or not.
So is it opium or hunting?
Hunting.
And well, I mean, opium is less what's the word? Nebulous than than hunting. So, like, if you're gonna hunt, how would you hunt Mordecai?
I think I might go with just the preparation for hunting, right? Because or maybe not. Maybe this is what I do in dusk, and I might invite Ellie to come along if she wants to. Because what I want to do is I want to still, I mean, my target, my prey, give it the proper name, right? There's this name. It's somewhere here is the Constable Lansing. And I think what I want to do is I want to observe and maybe makes a bit of my presence known, just in the way that he hears footsteps and gets that someone is there, but not being properly seen by him, like just spooking him, that there's someone stalking him, someone following him.
Yeah,
that's
that.
And I think inviting Ellie to come to this, that might be fun, right?
Yeah.
If she's interested in this. And also I have a question for you, Ellie.
What's
up? Because I remember that you were talking about the language of flowers. And while I am very well aware what you can do with the flower and what are the alchemical meanings, I know that there are others which I have not sadly been schooled in. But you said something about that, so I would ask you if you know that and I'll show you the buttonniere that Miss Pemberton Potts gave to me, and what does that mean?
And I will defer to Mads on what that means, because there are a lot of possibilities, but...
Go ahead and start talking, and I will shoot it in chat.
Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, I've it's an interesting kind of code, because you can send all kinds of messages. A lot of people think it's just about flirting or whatever. But no, there's a much wider range of meanings that you can have to convey. And who did you say gave you this boutonniere?
Miss Pemberton Potts, our neighbor, she was, when I came from Limehouse, she picked me up and dropped me off at the club. Thought it interesting that she was there, but I did not question it because that would have been uncouth, I guess.
Yeah, well, I don't know whether this is a declaration or a warning about someone else, but tansies are all about hostility.
Oh,
And foxgloves, riddles and secrets.
interesting. Yes.
And it's an interesting question whether she expected you to know or to take the trouble to find out, or whether she was being a bit cheeky, sending a message she didn't think you could read. I don't know.
Neither do I. I did not want to give away too much because earlier this day, I was looking at the corpse in Limehouse, and it was like that's remind me, Mads, where did the palpitating heart came from? It came from me not looking at the corpse. It came from something else. It came from a move that I messed up, but I made some connection with some heart.
Rights of salt and smoke.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
you did write
yeah,
some salt and smoke on
yeah,
something,
yeah.
and then like you connected
Yes,
with the
I wanted to
forest.
look. I want no, it was not the forest. It was the vampire thing, and
Vampire.
I wanted to see like the path. That was. Okay, let me look at the line has okay. No, it's fine. I also forgot. I
Definitely
think I
something with
was
vampire.
yeah, I think I was walking around Scotland. I was talking to Jenny, and then I think I was looking at the bodies. I'm pretty sure I was looking at the bodies. Was I? I don't know.
You haven't seen the
Anyway,
bodies
no, I
from the
haven't seen
lurker
the
yet.
bodies. No,
Only
that's
No,
from
true.
that's right. Didn't go
the
didn't go to
forest
the
Yeah,
one.
bodies.
that's
Yeah.
right. Then I was
You're
just
talking to
looking
Jenny.
at I was looking at the place, at the Limehouse itself, walking around and trying to feel something in the air to figure out what kind of vampire it was, I think. And that's when the palpitating heart came from. And also I found a clue. I think maybe that will give me another clue about that. I think I found the half-coagulated blood in the dark subterranean place because that's where I was looking. Yes, so I will tell you that I was looking around and I was keeping my senses open. And I had the feeling of someone who's really scared. Like their heart was beating like a lot. So they were hunted. They were aware that someone followed them. And it is these things sometimes transfer. So I was maybe a little distracted. I talked to Mrs. Pemberton Potts.
Interesting.
And since your senses are heightened, you might even hear it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I'm not going to mention it, but I hear it.
Yeah, well, since I've been talking about it.
Yeah, it's interesting. She's sort of our client, sort of Mother Mallory's our client, but I don't know, there's something about that lady. She knew exactly where to come. She knew exactly how to ask, and she seems too harmless, you know?
Yeah,
You know what I
and
mean?
too friendly.
Yeah. I don't know. There's just something about her. Mads, do you have meanings planned for the rhododendron and daffodils that she brought us when she first showed up?
Yeah. Hold on. Sorry. Should have known that you were going to ask about that because I totally forgot to check. All right, so rhododendrons. Rhododendrons mean danger. And the daffodils, I forgot to look because it's like I had ended up using that as a different flower. So daffodils mean something different, but I'll give that to you later on when I check the book. But yeah.
But yeah, I will mention that at the time I wasn't really analyzing the bouquet she brought. I was just thinking spring flowers, how nice. But now that we see there's a theme going, rhododendrons mean danger. That was not just a pretty bouquet. That was a warning or a foretaste of some sort.
I wonder what she wants. I mean, she roped us into this whole thing with the forest, which also has plant thingies. Mordecai does not see thingies.
Got the meeting on the daffodils, just so you know.
Yeah.
And it's completely offset, so this could probably throw off like your entire theory or your entire what the hell's going on
interpretation.
Yeah. Daffodils means unrequited love. So
interesting.
Stick that in your pipes and smoke it.
We should maybe, since she's a neighbor, we should maybe at one point or another pay her a visit.
She had invited.
Yes, yes, she has invited us. So.
Absolutely. So.
Wow. I do not like having someone that close who might have intentions towards us that we don't know. And something about her secretary is also, or ward is also unusual.
Depending on how, depending on what the concerns about propriety may be, it might be easier for me or Jiayi to get close to the ward and find out more.
I can't suppress this involuntary kind of almost laugh when thinking about Jiayi and that secretary person. That might be interesting. It's probably better to ask Jiayi instead of Felix.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay.
I mean, we want to bump something loose, but we don't want to cause it that much.
Yeah. No scandals unless we intend to cause scandal.
I think that boat might have sailed with having Felix around.
Yeah, well, he is kind of a walking scandal, isn't he?
Yes, but he is very well capable of turning these scandals to his advantage.
Yeah. It works for him. I don't get it, but it works for him.
All right.
Yes.
Ellie, incidentally, is very. You can see the difference in her. She was really low energy, etc., and now she is alive tonight, and clearly stalking someone is it may not be her vice, but it's certainly something that she's good at and finds interesting.
All right, take a look at conditions. Definitely take off drained then.
Yep.
And and talking about it and doing what you do best, Mordecai. It's like you can probably wipe out palpitating heart.
Yeah, I think going on this and making this guy's heart palpitate, that might calm my own. So
Yeah. Nice. Very cool.
also, I think Ellie has that effect on some people.
Interesting dynamic. Could be fun. Fun. Okay, cool. I don't want to go too far over time, especially because Kathleen's got to go. So, let's we could extend dusk phase again because we're gonna think about answering question in the beginning of next session. So let's go to stars and wishes for this. Brain does not want to work for next session. God dog. All right. Oh, and then just in case, if you have touched upon your dawn questions, again, just mark them off. Through this past dawn, day cycles, and then of course, through dusk phase as well as through the night phase, and then when we go through the dawn questions proper, then you will be able to mark the XP then, okay? But just if you've done them, make sure that you mark them just to make sure that you can remember that you will get the XP for that, okay? All right, so stars and wishes. We know how this works. It's stars for role play, gameplay, each other, and then wishes are things you want to see for the future and for next time. Okay, so really great session. I will just say overall, it was really awesome to see everybody in action, for sure.
Just reading the chat, sorry. No, I don't think Ellie counts as a dark entity.
No, that joke only worked once.
Yes, Ellie herself is not a dark entity. There's a whole different story there. I can start. Yeah, this has been a great fun session. I really enjoyed that vulnerable scene with Mordecai because it was different. I mean, it was a more comfortable dynamic than I might have expected, and that was fun. I liked that, and it was interesting seeing Mordecai engaged in his tormenting of this constable. And I think the the friction between Ellie and Jiayi, which might only count as friction in one direction. I don't think Jiayi has any objection to Ellie. And Ellie's just like, good God, why are there two of them in this group? And honestly, she got along with Felix better than expected during last vulnerable move. So Jiayi is the person she's least comfortable with in the group at this point. But that was a lot of fun of just the I'm grumpy, I'm in a terrible mood, I've just had a very unpleasant experience. Why is this person being perky and teasing and sort of patronizing at me? And Mads, as always, great NPCs, great fun. Really enjoyed this session, and it's such an interesting array of clues. It's going to be interesting to see how we fit them together. I've got some beginnings of ideas, and I'm tamping down on my instinct to say we need twice as many clues before we do anything. I'm not going to do that to you.
You have a timer. Remember that.
Yeah,
one more
that's
night
why
phase and you're fucked.
But the
yeah.
7 to 9 is the only result you ever want.
And as for wishes, I'm looking forward to wrapping this up, sorting it out and answering these questions. So, yeah. And then we can get back to the vampire.
Yeah, stars all around this. I also love the session. I really like the dance thing with Jiayi and the piano person. That was just great. And the talk they had after was also very sweet, but also unsettling, which is basically what Jiayi is all about. So yeah, very on brand. I also loved Ellie with these two gamblers, and then this guy showing up who wanted to have, and Ellie being like, go away. That was just prime Ellie, and also of course I love the vulnerable scene I had with Ellie. It feels really comfortable to be around her. She's a very soothing presence. So yeah, and then stars of course to you for Mads for all the NPCs and the talk at the club and the weird talk with Mrs. Pemberton Potts. That was like, okay, what does she want? And let's play along and see what happens. So yeah. And wishes wise, I mean, no, I'm good. I'm just good. I would like to encounter Felix at one point, but yeah, we'll see how that shakes out.
Yeah, echoing a really fun session. Yeah, I think it's interesting that Ellie just like how badly she vibed with Jiayi. That was really interesting to me. To just see like that really like Gage just slammed like absolutely not. I'm not having this shit. That was very interesting. For like both of the characters, I think. That was really fun. I think it also gave me a chance to show like Jiayi like not quite getting human interaction in some ways. Like I feel like a human might have been a little more like, oh, this isn't working. I need to back down a little bit. But Jiayi was just like, whoosh, did not get that. Just yeah, that was funny. That's interesting. I really liked yeah, I think it's really fun that you're setting Ellie up as this person who just can't stand people not being like just blunt and straightforward. Because that is well, that's a choice if you're in Hargrave House. That is not a character trait that's gonna be kind on you.
I can cope with tactful. Doesn't have to be blunt. But the whole however one wants to describe the vibe that Jiayi and Felix have in common.
Yeah, still, I feel like if you're in Hargrave House, you're gonna encounter a lot of people who are like that. But I think that's just very fun, and I think it also like brings out that like that vibe that the American doesn't like fully belong here, like that fish out of water vibe that I think is interesting. Um, yeah, I like that a lot. I thought that was interesting. Also with Tanner just being like, no, I've already dealt with this energy too much today. No, go away now. I thought that was very funny. Um, for Mordecai, I really loved the decision to go to like this gentleman's club. I thought that was a very interesting choice to sort of extrapolate and gave us like a cool new location. Um, to sort of broaden out the inn mystery a little bit and not feel like as cooped up. I thought that was really cool. Um, I love the hints that you give us that there's something off with Mordecai. It's just fun. And for Mads, yeah, I thought the piano scene was really interesting. I thought sort of like the picture that was painted of the Blackbird in through that character was really interesting. With Jiayi sort of, bringing up the like, this work kind of sucks. Like you have to really put yourself out there and try really hard to get like these wealthy people to maybe notice you. But I thought it was really interesting to see the other side of the person actually in it, like maybe trying to cope, but also maybe meaning it, where it's like, yeah, it's still kind of my best option though. So, it's not that bad. And like going along with me just being like, yeah, I think Jiayi just manic pixie dream girls her way through life. And then not working. That was very funny. That felt like very like I could very much see like sort of the wuxia scene before me with like, yeah, she's just dancing through the music and they connect that way. I thought that was much more interesting than just like interrupting and talking to him. And I'm really glad that you like got that and like the way that scene built was really interesting. Um, wishes, yeah, I think we've gotten out of the Blackbirds in what we're probably gonna get out of it. So I would be fine with wrapping it up. I think it would be interesting to do both questions at once. Because it's not like really like it's a custom move and the solution. I'm very interesting to see how these clues are going to line up into a theory because they're very out there. But I think they're interesting. And yeah, I am I'm interested in seeing some more of like we've seen like a lot of the supernatural. So I think I'm interested in seeing some of the mundane. Like we have like both threats that we have now are like very supernatural. So I think I'd be interested in seeing like how we handle with maybe more mundane threats as well.
That's coming, but not as soon as you may like. We'll see. I don't know yet. Um, I'll probably end up picking like the next threat, like maybe a half an hour before we end up doing it. So, as usual, that's my usual shtick. But yeah, I mean, like I love today's session. You guys were just like on point for each of your characters, and we just got to see some really cool scenes. Um, I loved the back and forth scene with Jiayi, and I just loved, like, having to do that whole organic, like in the music, in the dance, and in the performance, but then like just having this. It was hard to tell whether it was going to be heartfelt or if Jiayi was going to be that manic pixie dream girl kind of thing of like does she mean it, does she not, oh my god, I'm not even sure, and just reacting as Fitz was really like fun but interesting as well because I mean, like, is he gonna fall in love? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, he was just reacting as he was reacting, and it was great to see. So I had a lot of fun with that for sure. And then Ellie, poor Ellie, goddamn, dealing with Jiayi's energy like right after having like your ass almost torn apart. Yeah, I mean, like I wanted to make it efficient, yet I didn't realize it was going to be like, oh boy, gotta deal with my housemate, and my housemate is just incredibly chaotic. Oh god, I can't deal with this right now. It's just like seeing a side of Ellie that we're just like usually put together. Not quite so much right now. I'm so sorry. But you dealt with it as you dealt with it, and it was great to see that side. And like, again, like, just to see that like that parallel again, like when Tanner came into the scene. But that's what happens with bad roles. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, well, Ellie was fed up. Player was having a great time.
Yeah. No, it
In
was
both
great.
cases. So
It was great. So I mean, like, just for that opportunity was awesome. And then yeah, Mordecai, it's like, for Sabine, like introducing that other location, I thought that was great because it's like, gave me a chance to give an improv prompt, for paint the scene, and also an opportunity to give you a little bit of something to give you more context for all the flower clues. I was planning on doing that anyway, but it was just even more so, and I enjoyed the fact that I was able to bring Ms. Pemberton Potts back into the scene. So yeah, I mean, like, this again, this is a playtest, and this is more of an involved mastermind, so I appreciate the opportunities where they come. And yeah, I need to drop a little bit more lore, which you did get from the uh, side characters today. So yeah, got a little bit more on Ms. Pemberton Potts and her cadre, essentially. So anyhow, yeah, and I can't wait to get Felix back into the fold, so this way we can see more of his mayhem that he causes. And yeah, I mean, it's an
and he
interesting
didn't miss the night phase.
No, he didn't miss the night hit phase, which was good because I was going to start suggesting of like, we might have to start bringing in more offline conversation into the Discord if that was going to be a thing, because I don't want to have the character miss out on those off freewheeling discussions to bring them into night phase, or to miss out on those conversations to at least have a say in what happens in night phase if they have to miss night phase. You know what I mean? Like, because yeah, I want it to be a table decision instead of like completely missing out. So anyhow, yeah, I mean, like, I'm looking forward to next session when you're all here. Yay. And it's my birthday, so yay. Even more so for anything. I love playing on my birthday. It's great, and I appreciate you all for spending time with me and being patient with playing this game, and yeah, like dealing with my bullshit. That's what the main thing is. Yay! So, if there is nothing else, oh, you guys are so cool! Oh my god! And we had the appearance of Maki. That's the most important part. We had like definitely a Maki appearance, so definite requisite cat floof. You know, like my day is made. Yay! All right, great. You guys have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you next time. Yeah, we'll just decide what we want to do for answering the questions. Like, you know, continue on with Dusk Phase basically. So answering the questions. Maybe another vulnerable move, maybe with Jiayi and Felix, you know, so this way you guys have a chance to clear. And then Night Phase. Kicking some ass, hopefully. Have Ellie spend those points with the 12 plus. Yay! And then see what happens from there. I'm so excited, guys. Thank you so much for playing this game with me. All right. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you.
See you.
Bye.